Hey guys, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I am going to go over today's 9-game MLB DFS slate per usual. And per usual, we'll take a look at these projections. We'll kind of have fun using them to build a lineup. I'm not a hand builder myself, but if you are, you can kind of get a feel for the process and kind of, this used to be good enough in the old days where you could take projections and these value scores and build a lineup and have something pretty good. Right now, we're going to want to use the Sims for that. So after we hand build, just get a feel for what's looking good on the slate and what you can do. Then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to run the Sims as I always do. And I'm going to run the play-by-play Sims using our projections. I'm going to run the contest Sims to simulate the contest, and we'll see where we're getting to. We'll do it for DraftKings. We'll do it for FanDuel, and we'll get out of here. Before I do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com because you get access to all the tools we use, like the projections from Sheets, from Goldie. You get access to SaberSim, the Patered Analytics model for DFS and betting, which we're not even showing off today, which has performed really well. So you get a lot of stuff for it's a really robust package, and it's like $25 more than it would just cost for SaberSim alone. So really a great deal. There's a promo code NFL 2025, all caps. Check it out. Anyway, let's get started. I mean, I'm looking at projections here. What's up, Andy? Afternoon to you too. I'm looking at projections here, and it's like the cheap guys standing out. This Ferris, then you get the middling range Lorenzen right below him on the other side of that game in Kansas City. Ferris is a bit scary, but the price is right. And then Darvish showing up ahead of both of them. It seems like a spend down kind of pitching thing. And that's what I guess lets you get in San Francisco. There's a lot of good stacks on this slate. Minnesota and Chicago showing up significantly, like they're showing up high, but significantly below San Francisco, right? So San Francisco is going to be the play. They're going to be owned. They're going to be chalky. I would rather let the Sims solve this for me, but in the interest of fun and getting a little hand build going that people like. Good morning to you too, Robert. Thanks for the shout out. Yes, in the interest of that, I think we'll do a little hand build, and maybe we'll start with San Fran and just play the top guys and see what kind of pitching you can get in if you do that. The easier it is to get them in, the more owned they're probably going to be, right? So say we're running for the 121, and we want the San Fran chalk. You want to play Devers. These guys are priced up, but they're not anything crazy for Coors. You get Ramos, and maybe you need to spend down a little bit and get like a Fitzgerald. I'd rather play him at second, right? Who's catching? Is it Bailey? Maybe we throw the catcher in with our stack. And then let's see what other like one-off stand out. Larnach, Jordan still priced at like $4,500 for Jordan Alvarez. So let's see what happens if we play him. Right? I mean, this is going to tell you probably where the chalk is. Tuve's not that high. And then what if you want a couple of these pitchers? Like start with Darvish, the top value. You can go Lorenzen and have plenty left to throw in a one-off. Jackson, he's been hot. Not that I'm saying play him, but or you could put Gilbert there, put a different catcher. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do. Question, can you spend up a pitcher? Like Webb was showing at a good value. You can't get that. You can get Rasmussen hosting Seattle. Not the greatest spot, but Lorenzen fits just fine. I mean, if you really want to go low, you can get to this Ferris. I don't think in the end he's going to be owned. Ferris pitcher. Why isn't he coming up? Who do they have in for the Angels? everyone around the industry has Ferris projected. Who do they have projected starting? Oh, it's with an A. Okay. I mean, God, you could do anything if you play him. Tatis if he plays, Profar, J-Rod. You know, so San Fran's not hard to get in with so much value pitching. What's up, Cujo? Morning. You know, so you could totally do it. Now, let's just run the Sims and see where we get and see how much of this like cheap pitching we end up with for the lotto. So I'm going to switch to Goldie's projections. And I'm going to we'll run for 150 max. Then maybe we'll see in a single entry where we get. I'm going to keep everything the same and ask it for just 5-mans. I've explained so many times why I do that. It's not that we can't get plus EV lineups and other stack types, but we're also going to get a lot of junk, and we only get 5,000 to build. So we want as many that we think are going to, you know, have a chance to make our pool as possible. And those are usually 5-mans. So yeah, I mentioned it. You just got to watch out for the weather in this Minnesota thing. Pitching's definitely going to be scary. I mean, who is Minnesota at pitching? It's not someone great because the Sox have a good total, but it's still the White Sox. I mean, they're much improved, but Woods Richardson? I mean, the problem is his price is not right. Yeah, probably not going to get to pitching in that game anyway, but you're still going to have to watch out. Can't rule out a postpone, Roth says. So keep monitoring weather in Minnesota today. That is going to matter. We'll get lineups going. And we'll see. The question is not if we're going to get to San Francisco, it's how much. And then you're going to get this like late-ish night hammer with Texas and Arizona with pretty good totals. I imagine we get there. I imagine the White Sox and Twins show up quite a bit. So it's really something, weather's really a kind of a key to this slate, even though it's only one game that has a weather issue. It's two well projected stacks and two stacks that are priced right. So let's see. Build for 150. See where we'd get to in the lottery on DraftKings. Let's see. All right. So pitching, yeah, you get Darvish well above the field, pretty strong position on Darvish. And then right there, Webb, our next highest owned with the field, a little higher on Lorenzen. Taking a, strong position on Imanaga against Atlanta. I mean, it makes sense. The prices, I mean, he's expensive, but he's not up there with like Framber, who struggled lately, and he's got the Yankees, so that's a tough matchup. And Houston's, of course, not favored. Seattle, I mean, Woo is good, but he's outside of that great stadium, so not getting to too much Woo today. And, of course, he's like the highest price pitcher. And then this Ferris, who projects really well point per dollar, we just kind of we do get over the field on him, but not a huge amount. And then Fried kind of priced up against Houston. But a lot of good pitching and a lot of low, sort of crappy pitching on this slate. Let's see the stacks, how much San Francisco we ended up on. 40% as far as total stacks. Then we're pretty spread out. Kansas City, some San Diego, some Minnesota and White Sox. I urge you to keep in mind the weather again. San Francisco as 5-mans, just getting a ton of them, right? Because you get that Darvish in there and you can really fit it in. And then you get Kansas City and then no one else over 10%. So really spread out using Goldie's stuff. Let's see if we use SaberSim, how changing the inputs would change things. Actually, let's do this. Let's enable. Let's get for the 121 here. Where is it? Here we go. Let's run a lineup in the 121 and see what it looks like. See how much see if we're getting San Fran If so, to what extent? So we just want one lineup and run it. Yesterday, we've got San Fran with Ferris and Darvish. So we were kind of onto something. Then you could fit Aaron Judge in there with it. O'Hop and Adele to correlate with Ferris. Kansas City's not a great home run park, but it is a good hitting park overall. So can't complain too much about that. Angels total's not terrible. They could hit Lorenzen. Lorenzen will get some ownership too. So there we have it for single entry. San Fran, despite the chalkiness, looking like the play, and Ferris not getting the ownership. Now, don't expect too much out of him, but at 5,500, what do you really need? So single entry, kind of got an idea of where to go, at least in the early going before projections and ownership sharpens up. Let's run for FanDuel, see where we'd get to. Let's switch to Goldie stuff. We're going to be greedy on our stacks and ask for nothing less than a 4-2. I mean, we need correlation here to get these outlier performances. We need correlation. We really need correlation for everything in MLB DFS. So let's be greedy and get those stacks in that we like. And I don't see any reason to build the other ones. I mean, again, you get plus EV ones, but you get a lot of junk ones. And we've got a 9-game slate. 5,000 lineups is absolutely nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Just want to get as many of the good ones as we can to grade in our pool. As many candidate lineups that look good. So let's see. Now here, let's just see sorting by value. Yeah, it's these San Fran hitters. But okay, then Ferris jumps up for value. The question is, do you need the savings? Ferris, Darvish, Lorenzen going to jump up again. Is Latz stretched out, though? Jacob, Latz, ESPN game log. I don't need to look at like advanced stuff. I just want to see how many pitches Latz has thrown. 66 pitches in his last start, so probably getting in the 70s if he's performing well. In Arizona in a tough spot. I think he's lefty. I don't know that makes too much of a difference, but I can't imagine we get much of this Latz guy, but let's just see. Once again, we're going to let the simulations, they're going to do a better job solving this than I am. Oh, it's on one lineup? No, we want to run for a portfolio of 150 because we're trying to play the lottery here. All right. So in the lotto, yeah, way more spread out at pitching. You don't need the savings to get to like Ferris and Darvish, despite, Ferris, Darvish, Lorenzen, they're popping as the top values, point per dollar, but you don't need it on FanDuel today. So we're pretty spread out at pitching, but you can get to, 20% Valdez. You can get just, we're slightly over the field there. You can get kind of with the field on Webb, Imanaga, a little under on Wu, but you just don't need the savings, it looks like. Let's see how much San Fran we got. Yeah, tons of it. Tons of San Fran. Half of our lineups have San Fran 4-man stacks. It makes sense with the softer pricing on FanDuel. Let's see if we throw Goldie's projections in here. Or sorry, if we use SaberSim's stuff and rebuild. Let's see to what extent that changes our portfolio by changing the inputs. Look at how much we did on DraftKings with San Fran. You could really get in just about anything with the value pitching. And that's where the Sims said to look. So In Sims we trust. Sims I trust. I know you all don't necessarily go that route, but I do. I just think this question of ownership and projection and contest sizing and entry, that's just much better solved by simulating the contest using the algorithms than I can ever solve it by just guessing by hand. I don't know. I feel like I'm going in kind of blind doing it that way. But others do differently, and they have success. It is not as if you can't have success that way, but it's definitely kicking it old school and not my preference. So let's see. We're about the same using SaberSim stuff. You get a little bit more Darvish, but you still get that Framber, Webb thing, Shota, Wu. Less spread out overall. Let's see in the stacks. Same amount of San Fran. A little bit lighter. Then you get that Kansas City. And then spread out from there. Not a lot of 4-4s, so 4-mans are our main stacks and things. So there you have it. It's a San Fran kind of slate. The question is, when you need to get off chalk, where should you get to? For us, it was Kansas City as the pivot. I imagine they are the second highest owned team, so you're not faking anyone out by getting there. But if you were to play a 5-man Kansas City or 5-man Minnesota or White Sox, depending on the weather, you're already starting to get a little bit different, especially if you're in the single entry. So something to think about. Andy, is there ever a time that you go back to using the classic mode on Saber? I haven't. I'm really happy with Portfolio Manager. I had kind of been looking for something like Portfolio Manager till they built it out, right? And so that's why we would use things like min uniques and these sort of rudimentary ways of getting diversity in. And now we have an algorithm that solves the diversity question for us. So I don't ever go back to it. It's the same thing like why I don't ever go back to hand building, because I want the Sims to solve this for me and they could do a much better job. So it's the same thing with Portfolio Manager. There's a team of experts that have worked on that and back tested that who could do a much better job than I can with min uniques. So I never really go back to it. There are times like when I pick from my pool of lineups, like I was playing College Football Showdown the other day, and you have to avoid duplication. And I figured Portfolio Manager starts to lump you in with the same kind of thing. So I went into my pool and just favorited a few lineups that were a little bit down in ROI, past like what I think people would get in their sets. And I graded really well. Now I was a little bit over leveraged probably compared to what I would get with Portfolio Manager, but it was something I was willing to take the risk and do on that slate for just a showdown anyway. But especially in the first game when you don't even know what the depth chart's like and stuff. But anyway, that's getting into other sports. But I still wasn't using classic mode. I was just dipping down in ROI through my pool a little bit and clicked a few lineups I liked, and then let Portfolio Manager go from there to diversify, knowing I was going to playing those few. So I'm still just never going there, Andy. But thanks for the question. Thanks for everyone joining us. Remember to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com. NFL 2025, all caps, get you 33% off your first month. Get access to all the tools we use, right? And it's going to cost you less than it would cost you to just buy one alone. So really, like, one of the most robust and well put together packages in the industry. We're really proud of it. And with that, I wish you good luck on tonight's slate. Let's go.